Hi guys, Dazzie with another episode of my weekly Newsround series. This time it's episode 26 and a ton of information to get through as always. Apologies, it's a little bit late this week, but it's been a hectic week. But as usual, it will be spoiler filled. But don't worry, I won't be spoiling anything about Avengers Endgame as I'm going to see it tomorrow and I don't want it spoiled for myself. So I can understand people trying to stay away from spoilers. Let's get into it because there's a ton of information. And I won't be rehashing hot comic book alerts, that's for you to go back through. I'm into the 160s now, which is insane, but they will keep coming. Let's start with some pretty cool artwork. A new motion poster for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 6 pays homage to this classic Jim Steranko drawn cover of Marvel Comics' Nick Fury, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. number 5 from 1968. I'm sure some of you guys have seen that one before. Well, interestingly, the poster places Clark Gregg's new character Sarge in the place of Scorpio, the villainous alter ego of the comic book Nick Fury's brother Jake. Here is that little poster that Jim Steranko has just made for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Something striking about the colours, pretty simplistic, but Jim Steranko has a big fan base. Moving on, we've got some news about Star Trek. Today, well, the other day, because this is a few days old, but it officially marks the first day of principal photography on CBS's all-access upcoming Star Trek series starring Sir Patrick Stewart as Jean-Luc Picard. Now, filming is expected to last for approximately 5 months, with a tentative wrap on principal photography scheduled for September the 16th. And unlike Star Trek Discovery, which films in Toronto, the upcoming series is being filmed in Los Angeles. Now, the first season will run for 10 episodes, with 2 back-to-back episodes helmed by the same director. The first 2 episodes will be directed by Culpeper Hanel, while Jonathan Frakes will direct the 3rd and 4th episodes. Both directors have previously helmed episodes of Discovery. Now, I've watched Discovery, it's okay. Nothing more than that at the moment for me. But I'm excited to see Picard again. The series was first announced by Stewart himself in the past summer, surprising fans from around the world. Stewart will be reprising his iconic role for the first time since 2002's Star Trek Nemesis, with the series taking place 18 years after the events of the film and the character impacted by the destruction of the Romulus and the dissolution of the Romulan Star Empire. Pretty impressive stuff on its way. Yeah. I'm not the biggest Star Trek fan, but I did like Stewart in that role. Michael Biehn, he was at a con I was at recently, is returning to the Aliens universe, even though he won't be appearing on screen again. Produced by Audible, in honour of the 40th anniversary of the Alien series, Biehn will return in an audio drama based on the original and ultimately unused screenplay for Alien 3. I believe that's just become a comic book as well. Now, the script was written by William Gibson, who did Neuromancer, the author typically considered the creator of cyberpunk. Although the script was dropped by Fox, it eventually was leaked online and became a cult favourite. Now, more recently, Dark Horse Comics, like I said, officially adapted Gibson's script in comic book form as William Gibson's Alien 3, which featured art from John Christmas. Now, award-winning director Dirk Maggs will helm the adaptation and will feature Michael Biehn returning to the part of Hicks. I liked his character in Aliens. That's a great film. Hicks actually takes centre stage in the narrative, which may have played a part in bringing Biehn back to the part. And is set in the wake of Aliens. The action-oriented script centres around the survivors of Aliens, Ripley, Hicks, Newt and Bishop, who were on board the Sulaco. And when the ship is discovered by a human civilization, a facehugger manages to infect one of the soldiers exploring the ship. Quickly, another outbreak of the aliens in the new setting. Now, while Ripley spends much of the story in a coma, it's up to Hicks to combat the xenomorphs. Now, the audio drama adaptation of Aliens 3 will become available on May the 30th. I'm excited for anything with more Alien. I mean, Sigourney Weaver recently came out and said that she was being lined up for another film. I'd like to see it. Wasn't so much of a fan of the last couple, but the early ones, fantastic. Bit of James Bond news. Daniel Craig has been confirmed to star as James Bond for his 5th appearance as 007, joined by the returning cast members of Ralph Fiennes, Naomi Harris, Rory Kinnear, Lee Sedux, Ben Whishaw, Jeffrey Wright, and new cast members Ana de Armas, Dali Benassal, David Densick, Lashana Lynch, Billy Magnuson, and Rami Malek. Now, this film finds Bond retired from active services in M16 in Jamaica, where his old CIA friend Felix Leiter draws him back into action after a scientist is kidnapped and a new villain with deadly new technology surfaces. Now, filming locations will include Jamaica, London, Norway, and Italy, with the production directed Carrie Funnigan from a script he co-wrote with Neil Purvis, Robert Wade, Scott Z. Burns, and Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Directed and co-written by Carrie Funnigan, Bond 25 stars Daniel Craig, Ralph Fiennes, Naomi Harris, Rory Kinnear, Lee Sedux, Ben Whishaw, Jeffrey Wright, Ana Armas, Danny Benassal, David Densick, Lashana Lynch, Billy Magnuson, and Rami Malek, and it is scheduled for release on April the 8th, 2020. I'm a little surprised by that, because I thought Daniel Craig was not going to be James Bond anymore. Is he my favourite Bond? No, he does a good enough job, but he's not my favourite Bond. That's still the legend that is Roger Moore. My mum was a big Pierce Brosnan fan. Yeah, James Bond's okay. It's okay, nothing more than that for me. I like it. You know, it's good some action in it, but yeah, it's not my favourite. But this was one of my favourites. This was a classic. Who remembers this? Bad guy. Yeah. As the filmmakers behind Warner Brothers' Conjuring franchise, James Wan and longtime collaborator Gary Doberman are among the most successful individuals in the horror genre today, and they're continuing their partnership with a new Stephen King adaptation. Doberman has signed on to write the script for a feature film adaptation of King's classic horror novel Salem's Lot, while also attached as executive producer. Now, the film will be produced by Wan through his production company Atomic Monster, though no director has been announced to helm the project at this time. This marks the second King novel Doberman has adapted for the big screen, penning both installments of It, which was of course hugely successful, and with the second half of the adaptation slated for release in September. In addition to his work on the two-part horror story, Doberman has worked with Wan on Annabelle and Annabelle the Creation, the spin-off trilogy's upcoming third installment. Annabelle Comes Home will be Doberman's feature directorial debut and feature a script he co-wrote with Wan. Now, first published in 1975, Salem's Lot sees an author return to his hometown in Maine, only to discover it has been recently infested with vampires. The best-selling novel was previously adapted as two separate television miniseries in 1979 and 2004, with both receiving Emmy Award nominations. The opening one is a classic, isn't it? With David Soul, brilliant. That scene where the brother who's a vampire, he's at the window. Open the window, David. Let me in. And the other kids seeing his brother floating, freaked me out. The biggest. I was only a kid, watching it through fingers like that. Oh, one of the classic. And the reboot wasn't too bad either. Can't remember the main lead in that, but I've got it in my DVD collection. Great stuff, Salem's Lot. My favourite Stephen King, hands down. Now, Elizabeth Olsen, of course, who plays the Scarlet Witch. Well, Wanda Maximoff and Scarlet Witch actress Elizabeth Olsen has some interesting details to reveal about her upcoming Disney Plus Marvel series WandaVision, which pairs her character with, of course, Paul Bettany's Vision for their own solo series. Speaking to Variety, the Avengers Endgame premiere also said that the series will draw on multiple comic book stories and cited the 50s I can never say that word, of a promo image shown at the recent Disney's Investors webcast, which was not seen publicly. There's quite a few other comic books we're pulling from, Olsen told Variety when asked about the name WandaVision. It's gonna be Wanda and Vision. I think at the Disney Plus launch chat they showed a photo of us in the 50s, and I think that's a good teaser. It's going to be really fun. In the 50s. Very interesting. Also then improvised a 50s sitcom style theme song for WandaVision, calling to mind the 50s photo. That is somewhat reminiscent of Tom King and Gabrielle Hines' Walter's Vision series, in which Vision attempted to raise a family in the suburbs with disastrous results. I thought that might be the case. I picked up that Vision #1 recently. In the 80s, Vision and Wanda married and produced 2 children who were later revealed to be products of Wanda's magic, though they were reborn as actual children in the form of Wiccan and Speed from the Young Avengers. Also revealed that the series length is 6 hours, just 6 hours long. Though she clarified she's not clear on how that breaks down in terms of number of episodes. And the series will begin filming this fall. Very excited for these Disney Plus TV series. We're getting, of course, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Rocket and Groot possibly has been talked about. And the recent one, Hulk and She-Hulk. Of course, we're getting Loki and WandaVision. Laura Donnelly has been cast in the lead role of Amalia True for Joss Whedon's HBO show, The Nevers. Laura Donnelly has charisma, wisdom, and an archaic precision that not only captures Amelia, but defines her, said Whedon. She's fierce and she's funny, and I need both for the journey ahead. It sounds good. The Nevers follow a group of Victorian women who find themselves with unusual abilities, relentless enemies, and a mission that might find change in the world, according to the Hollywood Trade. Now, Joss Whedon will write and direct The Nevers, with long-time collaborators Jane Eppenson and Doug Petrie on board as co-writers. Donnelly comes to The Nevers following roles in Star's Outlander and the upcoming film Searchlight film Tolkien. HBO has not announced a release date as yet for The Nevers, but that sounds good, doesn't it? Victorian women with special abilities. Right up my street. Joss Whedon usually delivers, doesn't he? Ken Watanabe. I'm sure you know this Asian actor. Very good actor. In one of my favourite films from Tom Cruise, The Last Samurai. Also in the first of the Nolan Batman films, wasn't he? Well, Ken Watanabe was starring in a remake of the classic TV film franchise The Fugitive for Japanese TV. TV's Asal's The Fugitive will star Watanabe as Kazu Karai, a well-regarded surgeon who is framed for the murderer of his wife and goes on the run to avoid capture and to find his wife's killer. And the film will be set in Tokyo just before the opening of the 2020 Tokyo Games. And Seiji Izumi has signed on to direct the film. Warner Brothers is giving us their full and complete cooperation, said TV's Asal's production chief Kazuki Fujimoto. We're going to make a special drama on an unprecedented scale that will be the definitive version of The Fugitive. Now, The Fugitive was originally a 1960s TV series on ABC starring David Janssen, followed, of course, by the 1993 film remake starring Harrison Ford, big Ford fan. And a 2000 TV reboot starred Tim Daly. TV itself hasn't specified a release date for Watanabe's The Fugitive, but yeah, I like the Harrison Ford film for sure, so that might be a good watch. Let's have some MCU news, because Newsround's always got to have it. Well, Shang-Chi is one of several confirmed Marvel Studios films to be shot after Avengers Endgame. And studio president Kevin Feige said that the Shang-Chi's cultural heritage is very intriguing to the company. I think every movie that we do is a risk. We only want to do movies that people seem to think are risks, Feige said. When asked if Shang-Chi would be a risk as the company's first film with an Asian lead, doing the story of an Asian American hero of Chinese heritage is something that is very intriguing to us. It'll be really different and special. Now, Shang-Chi has publicly been on Marvel Studios' radar since 2006, which is interesting. And the company recently hired screenwriter David Callahan and director Destin Daniel Cretton to develop a film. I hope audiences around the world respond to it in the way they did with Steve Rogers, whether they have American flags or not, Feige said. It's about the individual storyline, spectacle, and adventure that comes with Marvel Studio movies. No release date as yet, but I knew there was a Shang-Chi film coming, but it's nice to hear it coming from Kevin Feige, because that solidifies it, doesn't it, guys? Excited for that. Just a couple more. Lily Simmons has been cast as the adult Selina Kyle, who of course is Catwoman, for next week's Gotham finale. This is Lily Simmons. Don't know about you guys, but I'm very sad to see the end of Gotham. The news was announced by the teenager Selina Kyle actor Cameron Bicondova as part of a goodbye letter to fans. Bicondova decided not to play Selina after the show jumps forward 10 years for the finale. The woman who will be playing the older Selina Kyle is the glorious Lily Simmons, who I just met recently for the first time, and she made me cry tears of joy. Bicondova wrote, "She is perfect for the role, and she really wanted to do Selina right. We spoke about Selina Kyle for hours, and I shared journal entries and scenes that were prime examples of Selina's characteristics, and she shared thoughts of the backstory for the 10 years that the audiences doesn't see." Now, Simmons recently appeared on USA's The Purge and previously appeared on HBO's Westworld and True Detective. Now, Gotham series' finale is scheduled to air on April the 25th on Fox, and I believe we are going to see Batman in his suit. Sad, because I've met some of the cast. I've met the Riddler, I've met Alfred, and I've met young Bruce Wayne, who did a little sketch for me. Really nice kid, brilliant actor. I love the cast, I love the noir setting. Yeah, it's not for everybody because it's not, of course, exactly like the comics, but if you take it for an Elseworlds tale, it is fantastic entertainment, in my opinion. Now, the other day, I spoke in my last news round about Disney cancelling Mouse Guard. Well, although the Walt Disney Company have passed on the recently acquired Mouse Guard adaptation, which was part of 20th Century Fox's acquisition, creator David Peterson and director Wes Ball have hope of it finding a new life elsewhere. Now, as you may have heard, Disney cancelled the Mouse Guard movie at Fox, but there is still some hope, Peterson wrote on Facebook. "Don't worry, Mouse Guard fans, it's not over yet," tweeted Ball. "It sucks this close to shooting, but we think we have something special, and we've assembled a hell of a cast and crew. There may not be room for us at the Mouse House just yet, but I think I hear some new doors opening." Along with that, Ball shared some concept art by Seth Engstrom, and this is the concept art, guys, at the top there. And of course, there's Mouse Guard. I've been on the lookout for Mouse Guard. I can only find reprints. I want the real McCoy. I think that could be a good film. That's it. That's a wrap. Sorry it's taken so long, but if there's news, I've got to bring it, because it waits for no man. That's Daz over now. Bye for now.